and welcome to the CarolinaCast podcast. We are here for another interview, season 13, episode 13. I'm Chris Verma alongside Sam Durham. We're live together for the first time here on the podcast, and we are alongside one of the biggest creators in the game right now. Not just creators, he started off on the football field and is now a big-time guy, a guy we look up to here on the CarolinaCast. A shout out to Clifford Taylor IV. How are you doing today, sir?
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're good.
We're so happy to have you on, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, appreciate y'all. It's been a while. We were trying to get it for a while, but we finally got it. I finally got it.
No, for sure. And first and foremost, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. The CarolinaCast on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Try to get it a little bit higher, of course. If you want to check us out on Instagram or TikTok, we are at CarolinaCast Sports. Our Twitter/X at CarolinaCast_15. So let's go ahead and get this started. You guys are starting to know our special guest. You probably already know him for how big he is on the internet now, but let's go ahead, get this thing going. So first and foremost, Cliff, I wanted to ask you, first of all, you're from Charlotte, man, and you went to Olympic. And I was actually going to go to Olympic if they didn't build a new high school. It's called Palisades. That's a little closer to me in my zone. Yeah, so I'm going to Palisades High School, which I think was really cool to see you at Olympic shooting around and whatnot. I know you were a big basketball star. But try to learn from your story. You flipped basketball and went and pursued football, and you walked on to Florida University. So what went through that decision, and why did you choose the football route and kind of stepped away from basketball?
Yeah, for me, really, it was because the whole basketball attempt didn't work. The long story short, man, it's basically, I was a nerd growing up, man. So like I went to Olympic, and it's crazy because the Palisades School, I lived in the Palisades, so I would have been able to walk to high school. But yeah, man. So got accepted to Florida for school, and then I tried to walk on for basketball. Long story short, they gave the spots to the managers, so I was kind of like, all right, it is what it is. So my freshman year, that was the first year where I didn't play any like team sports in the fall/winter era, and I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all. And so basically, like going into my sophomore year, I was like, I got to do something different. I don't know what, but I'm going to do something different. So I was trying to like weigh my options. I was doing like intramural basketball, flag football. I even did kickball for a little bit. And then, so I played one flag football game, went crazy. And a player happened to be there. One of my good friends now, Robert Clay. And he asked me, he was like, you ever thought of playing? And I told him the truth. I was like, oh man, I'm just out doing it for fun now. Cause I'm like football, like, Florida SEC school, like no chance I would ever, make it. So he was pretty much giving me a rundown. And that night, I was listening, but not really. So after we spoke a little bit, I was like, yeah, this dude encouraged me to play, but I don't think I'm going to do it. So basically that week led to us playing LSU, and that was Joe Burrow before he was Joe Burrow. So we beat LSU. Swamp was crazy that day, so I kind of did like a little glance around. And I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. So gave it a shot, hitting up trainers, gaining weight. Because at that point, man, I was probably say like 190. I was very skinny. So then I just started finding local trainers and got connected with the right people. And next thing you know, I was at a tryout. And then a couple months later, I was on the squad just like that, which is something straight out of a movie. But yeah, that's how it started.
When did you find out that you were gonna like be on the squad and stuff? I mean, like when did that sort of you came to the realization about that?
I would say around June of 2019, because like the thing is, our tryout was in February of that year. Thing was, my class schedule interfered when they had spring ball, so I would have had to wait. But me being kind of pessimistic, I was just like, these months are gonna fly by. They're gonna forget about me, man, because I was just gonna be a walk-on. It wasn't like I was a 5-star coming out of the portal or anything like that. So I'm like, they're gonna forget about me. And lo and behold, they didn't. And so around June 22nd, I believe it was, June 22nd, they called me. It was like, yo, you ready? And I was actually about to take a nap at that point. And he was like, yo, you ready? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So did my physical, my EKGs, the typical stuff you do before like for anything, stuff taken care of. And then poof, I was on the Gators just like that.
Must have been a pretty surreal moment. Now, of course, you see me rocking this. I had to kind of annoy you a little bit with it because my mom went to grad school here in Tallahassee, so I had to rock it up a little bit. I went a little close to Tampa with the hat. But
It's all
yeah,
it's
man.
all good, man. My best friend's a Seminole, so I got to deal with them every year. So
Ironically, if you want to talk about that, then basketball wise, I'm a Duke fan and he's a Carolina fan. So I mean, we still
Carolina,
like this. Yeah,
yeah.
I think you're a Carolina fan, right?
Yeah, if I didn't go to Florida, I would have been a Tar Heel, 100%, easily,
Wow.
easily.
All right, well, you have it there at least. That kind of goes through us. But anyway, so off the football field, let's say, you kind of told us the story a little bit on your channels and your socials. But when did you first start making that commitment to like, okay, like after football life, I'm gonna be YouTube, social media, whatnot. What was that first commitment like put into place?
And honestly, I would say last year, because as I was leaving Florida, I had about 200, 300K on it, but it was only on TikTok. I didn't post anywhere else. And the thing that I had to do was kind of like do some soul searching in the mirror. And I was like, all right, if I leave school right now and graduate, am I ready to do this full time right now? And the honest answer at that point was no, not even close. So I was like, okay, well, since it's no, and I want that answer to be a yes, what am I gonna do to change that? So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna get my feet wet working in sports, learn as much as I can, and hopefully maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, I'll be able to do my own thing. So again, fortunately, I had some good advisors in Florida, so they gave me connects with people at Wilson, had a sweet program with them, and I got an opportunity with the Rams because they had some connections there. Got a Super Bowl out of it, which was really cool. Learned so much about just the business side of social media, because that's the thing. A lot of us creators, when we first start, we think we know everything there is to know about social media. But once I started working in sports, I really didn't know a thing, in all honesty. So yeah, you definitely learn a lot working in sports, and I definitely encourage it to a lot of like aspiring, athlete creators that are trying to make that transition, but they're not sure. I just say get your feet wet working in sports. So yeah, after the Rams, then I worked for the NBA for a little less than a year, and then last year an opportunity came with one of my big endorsements, GOD, and they came with a deal that I couldn't resist, and that was the sign that I was like, okay, I think I'm ready, because I've made enough money, doing this thing, and I have a few years in the game. Like I was like maybe 2 or 3 years into it at that point. So I was like, you know what, let me just go for it. And then so I started just posting on Instagram like crazy. Obviously, I kept doing the whole TikTok thing. And then I really didn't start posting on YouTube, I would say, until around this time last year. That's when I first really pushed. And then obviously Snapchat, and then I started pushing it just everywhere. And for the last year and a half or so, the rest is history.
So like working with like the Rams and NBA and stuff, what was like the main stuff you took away from that like helped you be successful?
I think how I go about my partnerships and my business with like companies that I do work for, because before I would always make videos, send them to brands, and they would always come back with like all these retweets and stuff. And so working within those leagues, I got to learn the ins and outs of what sponsorships they look for. They look for people to wear shirts with nothing on it, shorts with hopefully nothing on it. Can't really do too much about the shoes, but they just look for very, very small, minute details. And I'm a strong believer in making everyone's job easier. So nowadays, before I even send a video in, I send them a script. I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna wear, because like I said, you just want to make everyone's job easier instead of just like bombarding their inbox every day with like videos and revision after revision. So that was the biggest takeaway, because like I said, I thought I knew everything there was about partnerships, but there's a lot that goes into it. So that was probably the biggest takeaway. And also just learning how to be not only consistent but organized, because I would just I'll post on TikTok and then maybe Snapchat, but I'll forget to post on IG and YouTube. So we have these platforms. This would be a cool one for y'all too. It's a platform called Asana. It's spelled ASANA. So basically, you can lay out all the platforms you're going to post a certain thing on. It cuts down the platform, the ratio, like the links, like you name it. It makes your job 10 times easier. That's the thing. Like nowadays, I treat this content stuff like a business because it's it's what I do for a living. So those are probably the two biggest takeaways I got from working in sports.
All right, Asana, we'll definitely check into that. Yes, sir. That's good. That's actually really good to know.
Yeah, really good advice.
Because we're so used to doing like you're saying, like one post here, then we forget like posted it here. So like that makes it a lot easier because everything you gotta like download this, that, blah blah blah. It can take a little bit of a minute. But let's backtrack a little bit even more actually. So playing at Olympic, did you go to Southwest Middle School or?
Southwest.
You did? All right, yes, sir. Then all right. So you went to Southwest and you went to Olympic. Sports wise, or I mean, just anything you really wanted to say though. Do you have a favorite memory from those?
Favorite that I can vividly remember. I remember senior night of high school. It was the day I got accepted to the University of Florida. That was the day I got accepted on senior night for our basketball team. And so I was going so back and forth that whole afternoon because decisions had been out. So I was like, okay, do I wait for the game or do I wait till after the game? Because I'm like, yo, if I get denied, that's gonna ruin my whole day. But I was on edge, so I was just like, I gotta open it. So I'd say, and this is like maybe an hour before we play. So I'm just like, I gotta open it. Opened it, got in, sprinted to the locker room, called my family, told them I got in and everything like that. Told my team, told my coaches, and word got around so fast because as I walked out on senior day, everybody in the crowd and my teammates were doing gator chomps. And that was probably one of the coolest moments because like going to Florida, it was a dream since I was a kid. I mean, my dad went there, my uncle went there, aunts, cousins, like on both sides of my family. So like being a Gator, like going to school was good enough. Like football, that was like beyond a dream. But yeah, no, my senior day in high school, that's one that I vividly remember. I'd say from middle school, I guess getting my first girlfriend for middle school, but it don't really count because it's middle school.
Yeah, as for like college, like obviously switching to football, did you have like a welcome to the SEC or like welcome to Florida moment there, or how was that like as a walk-on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and now it's crazy because he just signed a big deal with the Vikings, man. So Jean Grenard. So it was either my fourth or fifth day. And so obviously I was at a tight end position, and coach told me to crunch back. So I kind of leaned over to see who was the buck, and I saw a big 5'8", and I'm like, all right, I'm like, here goes nothing. So in my mind, I'm like, just don't fall. So we literally collided helmet to helmet. I didn't fall, but got the wind knocked out of me, and I was just like, oh okay. All right. Like my head, like my eyes was like twitching, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this one. But it's cool though, man. John was always nice to me. He always made me feel like one of the guys. I was a walk-on. So that was welcome to the SEC moment. And then another one was when we were doing kickoff coverage. And so again, from the left side to crunch back to the right side. And big safety, Sean Davis. Again, helmet to helmet. My helmet almost came off. Helmet to helmet. Yeah, those two I vividly remember. So yeah, the SEC ball it's a different beast.
I mean, I can already tell if they're favoring the SEC over like ACC schools like us. But I mean. Well, I will say, speaking of, it's funny you say Jonathan Grenard because we did a lot of free agency podcasts and whatnot for the Panthers, and he was actually one of the guys I really wanted us to sign in free agency. A guy in Grenard, obviously, got paid all the money to go to Minnesota. But going off the Panthers, Charlotte sports in general, I mean, nobody has hope, but I think Sam and I here, and I hope you do too. But is there like any expectations, anything you're feeling? Do you have any, like, I'm just optimistic, honestly, but do you feel like there's anything that could change for any of the Charlotte teams?
Well, listen, man, when you're so used to just not even mediocrity, just like below mediocrity, man, it's just like even if we're even a couple games over 500, like throw the parade already. And that's my favorite. One of my favorite nights living in Charlotte was the night that we won that NFC Championship game. I mean, that to this day is probably the happiest I've ever seen the city of Charlotte ever. I mean, people all over just like cooking. They were dancing, playing the drums under that bridge by the stadium. And everybody was just having a grand time. Like obviously it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But yeah, like when it comes to Charlotte sports, man, I'm a homer, man. No matter how decent or how terribly, extremely bad they are, man, I'm a homer, man. Because like I've seen too many videos of fans. For example, Florida Panthers, they just won the Stanley Cup. Well, there was a video of a guy that went viral. They said he's a fan since they started like 30 years ago, and he's been used to mediocrity. And so when they won, like literal tears down his eye, and I'm like, listen, I'm optimistic, but I'm also pessimistic. But I'm optimistic that moment will happen for me at some point. There's the Panthers, the Hornets. Hell, it could be the freaking Knights for all I care. You know what I'm saying? So like, as long as a championship and there is a parade in Uptown Charlotte someday, someday. As of now, I mean, listen, man. As long as we got, and I hate to name drop them, but yeah, man. As long as we got Tepper, I mean, the only thing that he's done that I can think of that is somewhat good was put the Panther head at the middle of the field. That's it. And I guess bringing Cam, but then again, you didn't bring him back really for good. You just brought him back just as a security blanket. So it was just Band-Aid. It's just one of those things where it's like, I know we're not gonna be good, but I always root for him no matter what. Like that Falcons game happened, and you can literally count with your fingers how many people were in there. If I was still living in Charlotte, I would probably be those people there. Honestly.
Yeah, we had tickets to that. We were supposed to go, but I got sick last second. I mean, in the rain too, it was not a fun one. But shifting over to basketball, what are you thinking about the Hornets this season?
Man, that's why I'm gonna need free agency to kind of go ahead and hurry up and end, so that way we can keep the core. We can keep the core of LaMelo, Brandon Miller. I think Mark Williams is gonna be fine. I really wish we didn't get rid of Seth. I think that might have been a red flag. You got to keep Grant Williams. You got to keep him, especially he's a homer, so he wants to be there anyway. And then this new freshman guy that we just got, it's like, listen, man, you got to build the foundation, but you got to do it the right way. And I think with this new coach, based on videos I've seen, he preaches defense. Because the last few years we've been damn near last in defensive percentage, and we can shoot all day, that's cool. But it's but if you're allowing teams to score 100, 130 a night, man, it's like you're not doing your job. So, and I know it's controversial. And actually, I saw him when I went out on Saturday, Miles Bridges. Keeping him too. That's she's like, listen, I know he did what he did, and obviously wasn't great, wasn't good at all. But it's from that perspective, it's and I ain't saying it like this, but it's a great thing that we re-signed him, because we got rid of him. It's you pretty much lost a key piece of that foundation. But listen, man, I've had to deal with the Bobcats. These guys aren't the Bobcats, so I'm at least optimistic about that. And with a new coach, new management, it can only go up from here, right?
Yeah, it seems like we always say that, but
yeah, we'll see, man.
I mean, especially about the Panthers, I said that because it can't get worse than going 2-15 and your only wins being game-winning field goals. So,
hey, man, shout out Eddie, Gator boy.
I hope he doesn't get ran out of town.
I'm about to say,
you got that new kicker in the building.
Yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, shoot, we ran Harrison Butker out of town, and that was, well, I guess after the stuff he did this all season, I guess it wasn't too bad. But yeah, no, we ran him out of town, and it's just dang, we could have had a Super Bowl kicker, but it is what it is.
I mean, at a certain cost, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll shift a little bit back to YouTube once again. So you were talking about it was Sauna, right? That other app that you could get your videos posted on each side. I'm already gonna write that down. We're gonna use that for sure. But do you have any other advice you could give to like guys like us or like the younger YouTubers who are trying to, I mean, not trying to make it a full-time gig, but are trying to like get our name out there, our channel out there?
I would say just one, if you believe in what y'all are doing, which I can tell that y'all do, just keep pushing it, man. And I know it's easy for me to say now, but you know, all the views and all the engagement, like, listen, if you ask like guys like I was throwing them out, like, you know, AJ Green, you know, we all started at some point. You know, we didn't all start just like instantly blowing up. We had to like kind of work our way up. Granted, we had a couple of videos that went viral here and there, but it's like, nah, you want to keep that ball rolling, but do it the right way. So my thing is like, don't ever go to extreme lengths that are just out of character for you guys, because what's to happen is a lot of times these creators, they start doing things that are just completely uncharacteristic, out of control, and they end up losing themselves. And that's why nowadays, I mean, I don't like to name drop because he's one of my guys, but Gideon, you know, he was doing all these pranks, all this stuff, and now it's like, and now he's realizing, he's like, was it really worth it? Because it's like a permanent record is a permanent record. Buddy's been in jail more times than we have fingers. You know what I'm saying? So like, and the thing is that's with you forever. So I would say, like, if you're passionate about, like, which I can appreciate, you guys are passionate about Carolina sports, man, stick with it. You know, go out there. And it sounds crazy coming from me, but I don't really see a lot of people doing it in Carolina. You know, get fan reactions, do post interviews, do whatever you need to do. But just make sure you go about doing it the right way, and don't lose yourself in this concept, because, mind you, what you do on the internet and what you do off the internet, you gotta be able to separate, because as off too, a lot of people, their character online, they take that with them into the real world, and then they end up getting their feelings hurt and getting humbled. And I've seen it happen many times, you know. So I would just say, stay the course, run your own race, keep your head down, and yeah, just keep pushing, man. Just keep creating, enjoying it. Like I said, I can tell you, I got a passion for it. So yeah, just keep pushing.
All right, speaking about like people online, I'm sure, as you know, the EA Sports college football game comes out next week. So like, I mean, are you kind of sad that you weren't able to be in the game, or like, what are those thoughts kind of like?
I mean, man, I wouldn't have been in the game anyway. I was a walk-on, man, so I wouldn't have been in the game anyway. But no, I'm ecstatic, not only for the players, but just for the fans, because like how old are you guys? How old are y'all?
We're both 14. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 14 when the last one dropped. I was 14, and so I'm 20. I'm 25 now. So it's like, for me and my boys, like, we've waited. I'm talking about like years for this. So yeah, so it's one of those things where, like, I'm so happy not only for college football game, like the college football fans, the community, but I'm just happy for the players, because, you know, now it's like, not only are they getting featured, they're getting their names put in the game. Like, that's crazy. Like, their likeness is put in there. Each player got like 600 to be in the game. It's like you can't top that, man. So I'm really excited for it. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna drive up to Tallahassee, because me and my best friend, who grew up together, we loved NCAA, and so I'll never forget when the tweet dropped in 2021 that it was coming back, and he like dang near almost cried, and I'm like, what's good? And so he showed me the tweet, and I dang near almost cried, because like that was what started our brotherhood. So yeah, we're gonna have like a little watch party. We're gonna have like a little stream set up. Yeah, so I will be taking Charlotte 49ers to many national championships.
Heard about that.
Yeah, so I will be taking over. The gold standard will be in full effect on day one, the day the game drops. I'm gonna get one play now game in. I'm gonna bust Florida State, you know what, and then I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna recruit, do what I need to do. And yeah, man, you ain't gonna be able to get me off that game. At least not for a couple weeks. At least not.
Well, I mean, hopefully don't stay on too long because we love seeing your content out there a lot. But I mean,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
no, I'll still know. Trust me, I'll still
Yeah.
drop. I'll still,
Just get it pre-recorded before.
yeah.
yeah.
And we're trying to clear up our stuff anyway for the game, so it's just super exciting. And like you were saying, you were, I guess, 14 once the last few games came out. We haven't really had that takeaway experience from it, so now that I mean, it's our first time kind of stepping into it. It's really cool. We're very excited for it.
I see. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know.
Hopefully we'll be able to, but like also going off that, I guess I just want to hear like your thoughts on like NIL and stuff, because that kind of I guess like got started while you were at Florida or maybe like a little bit after, but like how did that sort of like affect things?
Yeah, it started the year or the season that I had already left. So if I was there, I have no doubt that I would have made crazy bread, because I mean, guys like John Seaton, who's a lineman at Elon. You got guys like Brandon Dwyer now, who's like going crazy with the videos. You know, like I said, I would have made crazy bank. But honestly though, it probably would have made me a little more cocky coming out of college. So I'm in a way sort of relieved that I was gone when NIL happened. But from the outside looking in, it's just one of those things where it's like but it's like it's all fun and games until it affects your school. So like, for example, we didn't really have many blows when it comes to people hitting the portal. And then when ETN not only hit the portal but went to Georgia, it was one of those like, ouch. You know, it was one of those things. The whole time I was like, I can't tell, but like when that happened, I was like, ooh, they need to put some rules in place. But that's just the bias in me, man. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it. See guys get paid and learning the business of just like money early, so that way when they become professionals, it ain't nothing new to them. So yeah, I personally from the outside looking in, I enjoy it.
I mean, it made you the big guy that you are on the internet today, at least from what we've seen. So we're grateful for it, that's for sure. But keeping that gratefulness and that happiness, I wanted to ask you, and this is just personally, you can say this. What do you think makes you such an influential person, a person on the internet and on the field?
I would say my ability to, I would just say it's cliche to say my authenticity, but I would say my ability to show my vulnerable animated side, but also show my, personal real life side, because a lot of times I've had people in public come to me and say, you're not as angry as you look on the internet. And when I hear that, I'm just like, okay, maybe I need to kind of pull back and let them know that I'm not a crazy lunatic that runs around at cheetah speed, shooting a basketball on a mini rim or throwing stuff around and having a temper tantrum. So I just think my real raw energy and my real authenticity when it comes to making videos, because the thing is, I mean, yes, the whole Lakers need a center thing. I ran that thing forever, because it was like, all right, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a sign. I got to keep this ball rolling. And it's one of those things where I genuinely made myself laugh every time I heard myself like sing when I was like doing those videos. So it was like, okay, the moment I don't laugh at it anymore is when I'll kind of put the pencils down on those type of videos and just try to do like different stuff. So I also think I'm one of the most versatile creators, because a lot of times these creators, they stick to one sport. For me, now I got football, I got basketball. People have seen me do stuff at soccer games, they've seen me do stuff at lacrosse. I haven't done golf yet. I did one video at this place called Pop Truck, but I've done one, but haven't really put into that. I did stuff at NASCAR a couple years ago. So when it comes to versatility, I think myself. I think of Jenna Vandy. Obviously, I think of like my guy Scooter Magruder. I think of guys like that who can just create more than just like around one sport. What tends to happen is, like with basketball and football, they tend to end. Well, football ends obviously like in January, February, so there's sort of like a dead period there. But not for me, because like I know basketball. Basketball is my first love. So for me, it's like when football ends, a lot of football creators, they kind of like chill. They do 7-on-7. Like, y'all tripping. I can do basketball. I'm good. So right now it's like a dead period for me. But as of late, I've been still able to crack some videos. So no, it's been great. I just think my versatility is what really separates me from a lot of creators, a lot of my peers now.
All right, I got to go back to basketball on this one because I got to know, like, Lakers need a center. I mean, when were you just like, damn, like that just took off? I mean, because that's what a lot of people think of when they hear the word Clifford Taylor. So,
You know what's crazy about that? So I had said it, and I was around my buddies when they said it, and they were cracking up. And I think like a day or so later, I had saw someone do it. But I don't think it was Lakers need a center. It was just like you're a center, and it was like, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I think his name was like Kane or something like that. And he had done something about like a 6'9" woman or something like that. And then he was like, stop shopping TCH and go play like center. And I was like, oh, that is funny. So then I think first one I did was like, I think it was like as soon as I get home, I'm about to transfer or something like that. And then I started doing the basketball ones, and still at that time, like I didn't think it was that funny, but everybody was getting a kick out of it. And then I knew it was crazy when my family started getting a kick out of it. My family, they're my harshest critics. But when they started laughing at it, I'm like, oh, you might have something here, yo. So I would post it, go crazy. Post another one, go crazy. And then because I remember because I went into 2023 last year with 400K. So my end of year goal last year was 500K. I got that in January. And then next thing I know, I blink a couple days later, 600, then 700, then 800, and then I kept looking. I'm like, yo, I'm about to hit this. Like I'm about to hit a million. Because like million was like never. That was never even. I didn't even think that was possible. Never thought it was possible. And then when it happened, it was like, oh man, like that was one of those things where it's like, and it was a blessing in disguise because now it opened up a new Avalon where I pretty much got 500,000 new followers from basketball, and I already had like 400,000 from football. So now when you put those together, introduce those audiences together, and then you got now the Clifford. So it's like, oh, that's a diamond in the rough. So yeah, it all started after just watching a Lakers game when they were like 0-12 to start a couple seasons ago, and the rest from there is history, man. So yeah, it's funny because I'm actually flying to Los Angeles tomorrow. So I got a few things planned when I go up there.
I'd love to see it rebuilt once again. But I know you were just right before LA. You were in Charlotte for a little bit. So going back to that, do you have like it could be a favorite area, a restaurant, a place in the 704 that you wanted to share with the audience?
Oh yeah. My favorite restaurant, I had two, and I tore both of them up when I was down there or up there. I had this spot called Nana Soul Food, which is like 15 minutes from the airport. And then, or I think it's called Nana Morrison's Soul Food. I think it's called now, Nana Morrison's. And then, you know how we get down when it comes to Carolina barbecue sauce. So right by my crib, man. It's called Jim and Nick's. They got these little cheese biscuits. I swear, I know y'all 14, but I swear these little things are like crack. Because it's like every time I eat them, it's just like I remember a couple days ago, I ordered like a dozen cheese biscuits on top of the barbecue chicken meal that I got, and I ordered like a dozen of the biscuits. They were gone in like 20 minutes. Yeah, nah. And then obviously you can't go wrong with bubble time. It started in Charlotte. The favorite area. I hate Argyle, but I love Valentine. I love that area.
Yeah,
I love that area. Obviously, I'm accustomed to like Southwest Side, Rivergate, things like that. I'm used to that.
Rivergate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I didn't. It's crazy. I didn't really go out. I didn't go out. Because I was still like young, and I didn't really go to parties like that when I was like in high school. But yeah, now Charlotte, Uptown Charlotte, they got some spots up here, man. It's crazy, and y'all will find out about it later. So, but yeah, they got some spots, uptown. Like once 11 p.m. hits, it's on and popping, man. So yeah, like I said, y'all will figure out about it later. Y'all will figure out about it later.
Yeah, I mean the city, we already know how fun it can be, just how urban and lively it is. So I mean, I can already tell it only gets better. But
we'll see, man. Y'all will see. Just like I said, don't rush it, man. Enjoy your time right now. I'm telling y'all, once y'all get to college, and then once y'all hit like 21 and stuff, oh yeah, y'all see, y'all will see.
Yeah, I saw some of your Instagram stories. It looked pretty fun.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
All right, man. I'll leave you with one more thing. So I know you got to get ready for LA tomorrow. But I think this is a question someone else added from the back.
I think we do it for the last one.
Yeah, sure. We'll make this the last one then. If you could bring one athlete, or what is this? Yeah, so someone added this one at the bottom. But if you could bring one athlete in their prime back to Charlotte, who would it be? Don't even need that answer right there. You know what? That's so obvious. And it's prime too. My goodness.
Easy.
Well, we would have at least gotten one back.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is nobody better ever even sniff that number in Panther history ever again. No, nobody should. In my eyes, no one should touch 58, 59, 89, 90. Obviously, 51's obviously retired already.
Yeah.
When he makes the Hall of Fame, 88. So yeah, those are the numbers. Yeah, those are the numbers I feel like should never be touched ever again. Not even sniffed. That's why, like, when I saw Terrace Marshall wear 88, I was kind of sick of that. I'm like, really?
He does not play like 88.
Yeah, no, he does not play like 88. But...
Yeah, I was like, really? But yeah, like I said, I would be absolutely sick if anybody touched those numbers again. I'm sure every Panther fan in the world would too. But like I said, no one should even touch number one. I mean, Cam literally brought rappers that had no business being in Charlotte, North Carolina, but he had them he had Future pulling up to Charlotte. We ain't never had anybody like that pull up to Charlotte. The only person I can think of that ever pulled up to a game is the baby. And that don't really count because he's from Charlotte.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's about the Monday night game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think another number they shouldn't retire from they should retire from the Panthers is your prestigious 45. I mean, for how big of a fan you are for the squad.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Nah.
I don't know who they let rock 45.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, just you always know in your back pocket, you always have Panthers need a center, but yeah.
But yeah. Oh, speaking of shoot, if you want to throw Ryan Khalil there, he'll be in the Ring of Honor someday for sure. Ryan Khalil. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Khalil. Yeah, he's one of the legends for our squad.
Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, definitely.
I think we got one more question from the backstage. We'll finish this one off. Sorry for whatnot, but the last one is if you had advice for like younger content creators, kind of going back to one of the questions earlier, but if you had advice for younger content creators who're trying to just kind of get big in this industry, like what would it be? Where do you like the starting point, everything? Is it just to keep grinding? What was your mentality basically? Just going off with that.
One thing I would say for every creator that I've met, they always tell me that when they start, they go based on their vision, no one else's vision. So do what you think is gonna generate views, gonna generate engagement. And like I said, there's no crime in being able to get inspo from creating. I get inspo from guys all the time. And I think now I'm at a point where I can genuinely kind of sit back and watch, creators like ourselves. So I would say run your own race and don't be afraid to post, man. Because like I'll be the first to say this. Listen, you got guys like Kai Cenat, who is generational. I is generational. You look at guys like that, like they got a lot of fans, but they also have a lot of people that are hating on them. And the thing is, nobody in this game has no haters. Heck, I do. Heck, people, whenever I make a video and people are just like, whatever, they'll just be quick to pull up my Florida stats. And honestly, I'm built for that because I know what I did in Florida, and it was like nothing. I knew that. But it's like, look, if you don't have no haters, then yeah, I might be doing something wrong. So definitely just don't be afraid to like run your own race, do your own thing. You got to think outside the box. Don't go too crazy with it though. But if you got to think outside the box, think outside your comfort zone to try to elevate your content, elevate your brand, then do it, man. And sometimes it'll be a blessing in disguise. Because like I said, I was just doing football for the longest, and then when I started doing basketball, that opened up a whole new avalanche of opportunities for me. So like, yeah, I would just say, yeah, run your own race, create your own content, be organic, be authentic with it, and don't let what people say, get to you, because it's like, it's your journey. Only you can control it. If you decide one day, like, I don't want to do this anymore, okay, that's on you. But if you genuinely have a belief in what you're doing, man, just keep pushing. Like, hey, listen, for me, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Not even close. But rest assured, I'm pushing myself each and every day to get there, to get to that point, because I want to be one of those guys that can genuinely say, you know what? I did this for a living and I did it the right way, rather than just, doing a bunch of clickbait, doing a bunch of, just like nonsense to get a reaction. I want to be able to say I generated this being who I am, which is a kid from Charlotte, North Carolina, from the south side of Charlotte who, went to Southwest, went to Olympic, was able to live his dream going to Florida and have all these opportunities coming. So I always feel like if I ever abuse those moments and abuse those opportunities, then I have no business being here. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Keep being me, keep doing what I need to do, and the rest will take care of itself. So that's what I was like.
Well, I think we can cap it off with that. Thank you so much, Clifford, for making an appearance. And once again, we'd love to promote this out, get this out as much as we can, guys. So if you're listening to us for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. We are at CarolinaCast Sports, our Twitter/X at CarolinaCast_15. Once again, round of applause for Clifford Taylor IV coming on once again. We'd love to have you on once again, I'll say that. But really appreciate you making the time to join us tonight.
Yeah, man, you guys got it, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, and we will see y'all in our next episode. Thank you for tuning in.